Let's get back to tonight's highly anticipated Four Nations face-off final. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth is standing by live in Boston for us. So, Paul, it's a big moment, not just on the ice, but a lot more than just hockey on the line here, of course.
All kinds of stuff happening. It's a spicy mix leading into a very exciting hockey event. Look, the threat of a trade war, referring to Canada as a possible 51st state, people booing national anthems. In the lead into this tournament, some Americans were booing the Canadian national anthem. It's all coming together. 3 fights in 9 seconds in the hockey game the last time these two teams faced off last Saturday. So all of that is like this amalgam that's mixing into something that is compelling theater, compelling hockey theater, and, from a cultural standpoint, really fascinating to watch. I can tell you there is a lot of excitement and anticipation around the city of Boston. First off, this is a great sports city, a perfect setting for an event like this. Look for thousands of Canadian fans to be in this city here for the event. And of course, the Americans, very patriotic at all times, very strong when it comes to supporting their teams in a robust fashion at all times. Mixing those things all together, the stage is set for a championship showdown for the Four Nations face-off, and there is a lot of excitement starting now, leading all the way through until 8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, no doubt a lot of passion. As you mentioned, the game later tonight is still pretty early in Boston. You mentioned expecting Canadians en masse to travel down there. Are you getting a sense of how significantly Canadians might want to travel to the U.S. for this game? Of course, we've heard a lot of Canadians say maybe they don't want to travel to the U.S. right now because of everything that's been going on.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. I mean, any observation I have at this point is purely anecdotal because I'm reading the same things you're reading, seeing the same social media posts that you're probably seeing. Look, I do think, so the Boston TD Bank Garden seats about 17 or 18,000 people. I don't think it's an overstatement to expect 1,500, 2,000, maybe 3,000 Canadian fans in the building tonight. So that's a substantive crowd. So look for a sizable road crowd from a Canadian standpoint to be in that rink. Look for them to make a lot of noise. Look for them to almost be combative with the American fans, as we see in a great sports venue, pushing all the cultural themes aside, just from a sports standpoint. That has a recipe of being rather exciting. The X factor for me is, and as the day unfolds, I'll be excited to see how it plays out. I'll give you this comparable. We were in Florida for the Stanley Cup back in June, Edmonton and the Florida Panthers. We were in the promenade area outside of the rink. There were several thousand Oilers fans in the building. There were several thousand Oilers fans who came down to be outside of the building to be a part of the experience. I wonder if that will be the case here. How many Canadian fans will come down here to be a part of this environment, but not be a part of the game from an in-game standpoint? I would submit to you that we probably will see some, but to quantify some based on those other factors you talked about, people hesitant to come down, I'll be curious to see how that plays out, but I think there will be something significant happening when it comes to the overall environment and those Canadian fans coming to this city to be part of this this in-game day of experience.
Should be interesting to see as we get closer to game time. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth live in Boston, setting up the Four Nations face-off final. Paul, thanks so much for this. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much. Take care.